If you like our video, click the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel and get easy access to new content. To see our full suite of ad-free video courses and training materials, visit us at teachucomp.com. Tables are so commonly thought of when one speaks of a database that the terms are practically interchangeable. A table is an organized structure that holds information. It consists of fields of information into which you enter your records. A field is a single column within a table, consisting of one category of information. A record is a collection of related data fields that describe a single item contained in a row within a table. After creating the data model for your database tables, you will want to create the table structures in Access. At least at this point, Access will make it easy for you to do so. One way to start is by creating the tables in Design View. To create a new database table in Design View in Access, click the Create tab in the ribbon. Then click the Table Design button in the Tables button group. When you do this, a new table appears in Design View in the Tabbed Documents area. In Table Design View in Access, you will not see the actual data stored in your table. Instead, you only see a representation of the table's structure. You will, however, have much greater control over the structure and properties of the table's fields than if you begin by creating a table in Datasheet View, which is not recommended. Note that the Table Design View window is divided into two panes. The Design Grid at the top, where you enter the field names and choose the data types, and the Field Properties section beneath it. In the Design Grid at the top of the Table Design View, there is a small box at the extreme left end of each field. This is the Row Selector button. You can click this small square to select the entire row. You need to do this frequently in Access, so become used to this object's location. In Table Design View, type the name of the first new table field into the top row in the Field Name column. Field names must be unique within a table and should be brief yet descriptive. You should also consider not placing spaces within the field names. If you want, you can adopt a convention, like capitalizing the first letter of each word in a field name, or using the underscore character instead of a literal space between words in a field name. Also, the order of fields you type into this column is the order they appear from left to right in the datasheet view, which is the view that lets you enter and see the actual data values in the tables. Next, press Tab on your keyboard to move to the Data Type column to the right, or simply click into this column. Next, click the drop-down arrow in the Data Type column and select the Field's data type from the choices in the drop-down menu that then appears. Let's review the following data types you can assign to fields in Access tables. First, there's short text. This field can contain up to 255 characters of text or a combination of text numbers and other information. Long text is a longer type of text field. It can store up to about 1 gigabyte of text, but controls used to display its values can only show the first 64,000 characters. The number field can contain only numeric data on which to perform calculations, not phone numbers or zip codes. As you do not perform calculations with these numbers, they are actually text fields. It can be either 1, 2, 4, 8, or 16 bytes in size, depending on the related field size setting. Large number is an 8-byte numeric value which is compatible with the SQL_BIGINT data type in ODBC and which is used for efficiently calculating large numbers that aren't currency. Datetime contains an 8-byte date or time code, useful for date-time calculations. Datetime extended is a 42-byte date or time code similar to the datetime data type, but with a larger date range, higher fractional precision, and compatibility with the datetime2 data type in SQL Server. Currency is an 8-byte number data type and function, but formatted as currency with 4 decimal places of precision. It uses fixed point calculation, which is faster than the number data type's floating point calculation. AutoNumber assigns a unique 4-byte numeric ID to all records entered in the table. This is useful as a primary key field. If used for replication ID, then it instead contains 16 bytes. The yes/no data type stores Boolean or logical data like yes or no, true or false, on or off, or -1 or 0. It's used when only two possible values in a field can exist. OLE Object connects to objects in Windows-based applications. You can use OLE Object data types for ActiveX objects, pictures, calendars, and other types of files. Hyperlink contains a hyperlink to an address or file on the internet, intranet, or a LAN. Attachment allows you to attach any type of supported file, like images or spreadsheets, for example. It provides greater attachment flexibility than the OLE Object field, and also uses storage space more efficiently than OLE fields do. Calculated allows you to create a calculated field which contains a value that is derived by performing a function on other table fields using an expression that you create. The lookup wizard is not an actual data type, but selecting this choice instead helps you to set up a lookup field which contains values from another table, query, or values you enter by hand, which then validate this field's values. This is useful for combo boxes and list boxes and forms. Each field you create must have a data type. This tells Access what kind of data to store within the field. The default data type for new fields in Access is short text. In relational databases, the more varied kinds of data types that exist within a table, the quicker it is to index and query those tables, so feel free to change the type as needed. Optionally, then press Tab on your keyboard to move to the description column, or simply click into this column. You can then type a description of the data that will be stored in this field if needed. Then press Tab on your keyboard to move down to the next row, or click into the field name column in the next row. Then repeat this process of typing a field name, selecting its data type, and entering an optional description until you finish adding all the fields to the table. Below the design grid is the Field Properties section, where you can set the properties of the currently selected field in the table. In this area, the properties of the currently selected field appear on the General and Lookup tabs. You can edit or set the field's properties here by changing the values as needed. You will look at some of the properties you can change for selected fields in later lessons. For now, simply familiarize yourself with where the field properties are located. To set the table's primary key field, which we will discuss in more depth in the next lesson, click the Row Selector button at the left end of the row that contains the field which you want to set as the primary key for the table. Then click the Primary Key button in the Tools button group on the Design tab of the Table Tools Contextual tab in the ribbon. To then save the table, click the Save button in the Quick Access toolbar. Then type a name for the new table into the dialog box that appears, and click its OK button. Remember to click the subscribe button to see more of our videos. Get ad-free courses at teachucomp.com.